Open your box for old time's sake.
Tell me about Kiss, 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 Yoko.
What about?
Tell him how you recorded it in the pitch dark, hidden behind these big walls here.
Yes, well, you know, Kiss, Kiss, Kiss. I started to do it, and then I suddenly looked, and all these engineers were all looking, you know, and I thought, oh, I can't do that. So I said, well, turn off all the lights and put the screen so that they put the screen around me. And I did it that way. You know.
We were all sitting there, we were saying, what's she doing? You know, she was having an orgasm and nobody was there. And I was saying, well...
It's called acting, my dear.
Oh, very good, dear, very good, yes. Ziggy Stardust.
Do you get embarrassed in studio, Yoko, doing something like that? Do you want to be on your own and a bit shrouded?
Well, we were all...
I'm
sorry to interrupt, but there was John, me, and Jack, and Lee, the engineer, and a few people. We were all, in there. And
I'm glad I didn't know that.
She's trying to do, what is it? I got that image of that Japanese movie running through the grass,
Yes. Kiss, Kiss, Kiss is what it is, and the song itself will explain. And so if you listen to it, you will get whatever you want to get out of it, probably. But it's mainly sort of like a feminine energy and vulnerability that women are not getting scared of exposing now. And it's all right to show vulnerability. And in a way, it's like saying, well, this is woman.
In what you've just said, the most interesting statement to me is that the person listening will derive what they wish out of it. Do you deliberately go to produce songs like that? Because it's rather like the movie business, isn't it? You can go and see an adaptation of something, and it sticks in your mind as being the adaptation that you might remember for the whole of your life. If you write a song and people can derive what they want from it, it's a very personal thing, isn't it? And that's a special way of communicating.
Oh, yes, well, I can't help doing it, so I'm not saying that I do it intentionally, but I have these visions and visual things, and that comes out. You can interpret a vision in any way you like, in a way.
Do you feel now at this stage that the team and the ease of writing is now back with you? And,
yes.
And that you're going to be extremely prolific in the months and years to come?
Yes, I think it's going to be... At one period, they'd say, those two would do anything for publicity, get them off the front page, get them out. People were bitching at us because we were always doing something, and then they were bitching at us because we weren't doing anything. And I have a funny feeling that it's going to be the other way around again, because we're talking and all sorts of plans and ideas we have in our head. It's just a matter of getting it done. We already got half the next album, and we'll probably go in just after Christmas and do that. And we're already talking about what the idea for the third album is already laid out, and I can't wait. So it's a matter of just getting it done. I'm sorry about you people that get fed up of hearing about it, but, we like to do it, so it's too bad.
Yeah. The problem is, of course, there's always the time gap between you finishing the recording and people like myself being allowed to sit and talk to you. And that always worries me somewhat, because it's past history to you, and as you've just said a moment ago, you're 2 albums ahead of me as we sit here now.
Right, we're already on the third in our minds, but the second physically, as it were, beginning to think about it. You can't do it at the same time, you see. You can't be discussing it while you're making it. You don't even know what you're doing. You're kind of making it, and you're so into it, you cannot be objective about it. Even some of the records I made, when you talk about them, at the time I wasn't consciously knowing what you're doing in a way. You're not conscious of what you're expressing. And it's sometimes about 2 or 3 years later when I realized what we made then. So Double Fantasy, I can talk all night about it, but it'll be 2 years before I can see it really, what it is. It's like inviting into the rehearsal of a play and then...
changing it the night afterwards.
Right. Even the opening night, it can change the night after, right? So it's too bad. Too bad,
isn't it? A series of tremendous luck, tremendous amount of luck made us finish that album in a way.
And the fact that we can work together and express it in many different ways, from starting over to Kiss, Kiss, Kiss. I mean, the difference is obvious in the sound and everything, but that we can both be part of both.
Beautiful Boy, John, a song about Sean.
Yeah. Well, Stevie Wonder wrote about his kid, right, didn't he? Isn't she lovely?
That was recorded here, wasn't it? You did songs in the key of life in this studio,
yes,
I think I'm right in saying.
In Hit Factory, New York, yeah. Down in very near Times Square, folks. You come out of here after a session and there's strange women standing on the street. It's really cooking, it never stops.
Yeah.
The time I was with Sean in the kitchen with the bread, all that, I kept thinking, well, I ought to be inspired to write about Sean. I mean, I ought to. I was going through a bit of that. And when I finally gave up on thinking about writing a song about him, of course, the song came to me. When he was 4, 4.5, or 5, it was just coming up to October when I suddenly got the song about him.
Is he developing an interest in music?
Oh, he's very musical. Absolutely. Because I noticed something in the hospital. When the black nurses come in, they'd put on WBLS, which is the R&B disco station. When the white nurses had come in, they'd put in on the country western station. But when the black nurses fed the babies, they picked them up and held them on their hip and danced around the room and the bottle. When the white nurses came in, they'd just sit still and jam the bottle down its throat and not move. So I thought, I want him to have natural rhythm, you know. I mean, seriously, I noticed the different attitude. Not only was it warmer and more contact, but there was constant movement. And officially, they weren't allowed to put the radio on. But when the head nurse was away, they put it on all the time. People don't want their children not being able to sleep without music. Long story short, I did the same with Sean. Whenever I fed him, I put the rock and roll on, or the R&B, and I danced with him. He can dance like nothing on earth. He's perfect pitch and key. He's into hound dog now because I said that in an interview, so he thinks it's about hunting, and bebop Lou knows backwards.
I'm very pleased that you've actually put your lyrics on the inner sleeve, because one of my major moans in the business over the last few years has been that the amount of information available on album sleeves has deteriorated in some cases to absolutely nothing.
Do you mean they've stopped printing the lyrics?
Oh yes, and they've stopped telling you who's playing on the album, and they've pretty well stopped telling you everything. I wouldn't say that for all record companies, but certainly far too many.
Must be financial, right?
It could be.
I mean, what other reason? They just don't want to spend the money on the print. You know, I'd sooner have the lyrics and no cover.
But it's not much money, I don't think, to print.
Oh, it is.
It?
Every penny counts, look.
I understand.
John, can we talk about I'm Losing You, which I think reflected your times alone in Hong Kong? Was that when you wrote that song?
It was actually in Bermuda. I called her, you know, and I couldn't get through. Can you imagine it? Through the office, she was...
Because I was so busy.
She was so busy, so many calls, and I got really mad, you know. And I wrote this song in the heat of passion, as it were. Which is great for songwriting.
Or anger, shall we say.
But getting a bit distant from it, it is expressing the losing you of the 18-month lost. It was everything. Losing one's mother, losing one's everything. Losing everything you've ever lost is in that song. That's losing whatever. But sparked by the fact that I couldn't get through on the damn phone. Can't even get you on the telephone.
And Woman, which is, I must say, a great favourite of mine.
Oh, thank you. I like that one, although I'm sort of embarrassed because it sort of sounds a bit like Girl and a bit Beatley and a bit, but I do like it
Why
myself.
does that embarrass you?
Because I'm still a bit feeling I'm supposed to be macho Butch Cassidy or something, and tough Lennon with a leather jacket and swearing and all that, and I really am just as romantic as the next guy, you know, and always was. It's the sort of 80s version of Girl to me, you know. Like I referred to the other ones, Elvis Orbison, this one I call the Beatle track. All the time. I said, the Beatle track, let's do the Beatle track tonight. But to me, it suddenly dawned on me about the woman thing. I was in Bermuda again, and it suddenly sort of hit me about what women represent to us, not as the sex object or the mother, but just their contribution. That's why you hear me muttering at the beginning for the other half of the sky, which is Chairman Mao's famous statement. That it is the other half. And all this thing about man, woman is a joke. Without each other, there ain't nothing. So it was like this sort of, my God, it was a different viewpoint of what I'd felt about women, and I can't express it better than I said in the song. And it's for Yoko, but it's to all women.